Welcome to Mexico City. Now, this is not just any city. It's a huge metropolis that's home to 9 million people. And honestly, I know Mexico City doesn't have the best reputation. But today, I want to show you a very different side to the city. Maybe a side that you didn't even know existed. So in this episode, we're going to travel to 3 very different neighborhoods across Mexico City. And we're going to see how people who call them home live and work. Are you ready? Vamos, let's go. This isn't going to be your typical tour of Mexico City. Yes, this city is brimming with art galleries, museums, parks, and historic architecture. But you can find all of that quite easily in guidebooks. Today, I want to show you an alternative side to Mexico City. The local spots you'll see only if you stray a little bit off the beaten path. We're starting out in a so-called Barrio Mágico, or Magic Neighborhood, a designation given to the most historic, culturally significant parts of Mexico City. This is Coyoacán, Nahuatl for the place of the coyotes. I'm starting my tour of Coyoacán with a quick breakfast in what is meant to be one of the best churro spots in all of Mexico City. So I'm about to arrive at this churreria. Hola! A churreria is a place that sells churros, which are traditional, deep-fried dough sticks, just pieces of deliciousness. And the thing is, this is the menu. It's not a simple choice. So you can choose a churro with anything from mango to cappuccino flavoring to Baileys, Nutella, kiwi, all kinds of fruit, all kinds of delicious fillings that you can imagine. All right, I made my pick, Nutella. I mean, looking at all that oil, I can definitely say that churros are probably not the healthiest snack you could find on the streets of Mexico City. But once in a while, I don't even know where to begin with this. Hang on. Which way? Muy rico. Gracias. So delicious. So rich. There's so much sweet deliciousness and cream inside of this. Absolutely amazing. All right, it's time to burn off all of that sugar and follow the locals to a very typical Mexican city spot. You know, when you come to a local barrio here in Mexico City, you can't skip going to a mercado or a market, because that's where you see how people go about their day, how they work, how they live. Mercados are kind of like the souls of each neighborhood. So I'm gonna take you guys into the Coyoacán market. Let's see what we can find inside. Let's go. When you dive into the crowded interior of a local market, your senses instantly become overwhelmed with the smells, colors, and sounds inside. To me, this is as real as it gets if you want to experience a slice of local culture. So with markets in Mexico City, you don't just get handicrafts or clothes or just vegetables and fruits. You get often everything pretty much in the same place, at least here. My theory is you could probably survive in this market for a week without ever having to leave. You'd have everything that you need. So right here behind me, we've got tostadas. Apparently one of the most classical street snacks in Mexico. So I guess you gotta take a seat and try one of those, huh? Gracias. So here we've got the mushroom tostada. Look at this, beautiful, not just mushrooms, but also cream and avocado, of course. And this is our cameraman's tostada with fresh shrimp. So you can have these with pretty much anything, all kinds of meat, fish. Oh, and here's our surprise. This here is a so-called agua fresca. So you don't really get this in many other countries, especially not in Europe. This is kind of like a juice, but it's way more refreshing. So it's water stirred in with some kind of flavoring, often with sugar. And this one is tamarind flavor. That's not the kind of taste that you see every day, but it's one of my favorites. It is sweet, cold, refreshing, just the kind of drink you could use on a summer day here in Mexico. All right, let's dig into the tostada, shall we? I don't even know how you're supposed to eat this, honestly. But I see people using all kinds of sauces. Just pour it on, like that, I guess. I don't know how spicy this is. This could kill me in a couple of minutes. Let's see. Time will tell. Green salsa? Why not? Looks great. This might turn out to be devilishly spicy. I don't know if I can handle this. Here we go. The tostada is ready. so great. Just the perfect combination of flavors. And the salsa on top adds just like zesty kick. I can see how you'd stop by the market just for the tostada, honestly. And with a belly full of delicious Mexican food, it's time to keep exploring. So right here, I want to show you something a little bit different. Check these out. These are so-called alebrijes. They're kind of surreal, abstract, magical animals that you only really find here in Mexico. And they are kind of like a combination of different kinds of animal usually. So, for example, right here, I mean, this to me looks like a combo of crab and fish and some kind of magical dragon. Right here, we've got a bird painted in all kinds of beautiful patterns with flowers. Okay, I'm gonna pick out one alebrije and treat it as my token of good luck. These two are my favorites, but I can only choose one. The coyote or the Pegasus. I think I'm gonna get this one. Our next stop is Xochimilco, a peaceful oasis on the outskirts of Mexico City. Thanks to its natural beauty, Xochimilco is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the way to get around here is on colorful boats called trajineras. On the weekends, you'll see families, both locals and tourists, partying it up big time on these boats. But today, I want to show you a very different grassroots perspective. And on one of these boats, we meet Ricardo, the founder of an important project. De la Chinampa, as it's called, works with local farmers on restoring these farmlands, expanding Xochimilco's natural environment and protecting it from new urban construction. It also helps provide jobs for more locals while maintaining Xochimilco's traditional agricultural practices. So where does all of this delicious food come from?
Come from here. It's a local food, and we have many products who we harvest yesterday for make this tour.
Amazing.
First one, we have a salad, spinach and cherries and cucumber and carrots come from here. And now here we have cheese, and we call it queso ranchero. And here in the Blackstone, who we call it molcajete, we have guacamole. It's been avocados, organic avocados who come from the mountain, and we prepare with cilantro and onion. Amazing. But the cilantro comes from the chinampas and the onions too. And in that pot we have café de olla, coffee pot, no, but are made with cinnamon, natural sugar cane, and Mexican coffee.
One of the best coffees I've ever had in my life. I'm on my second cup, and I'm planning for a third one.
And in the last one we have quesadillas. All the products come from Xochimilco. It's a local food.
Xochimilco's water canals are the remains of a massive water transportation and food production system originally built by the Aztecs in the pre-colonial Valley of Mexico. The small islands, or chinampas, which dot the landscape, are actually essential for the survival of Mexico City. They provide it with water, with fresh produce. And since the capital was built on top of a lake, the chinampas also play a role in stabilizing the ground underneath it so it doesn't collapse in on itself. Wow, it's so beautiful.
This is one of the chinampas.
It's so huge.
The Aztecs feeded the people from here. They feeded 2,100 people from this area.
Wow.
The chinampas are a very productive land because here we can have 4 to 7 crops every year. Here we don't found any monoculture. You found permaculture. You create life inside because when you mix the crops, you have everything here.
Right.
And we don't use any pesticides.
And who are the people that work on this chinampas?
I have 3 workers and they born in this area. And they know everything about to make the crops inside.
So local food, locally produced by local people.
Right. That is the goal.
So check this out. This is soil. And I think a lot of us are scared of this stuff, you know, because it's dirty, because it's not clean. But this is where it all begins. This is where all of our food comes from. And it's amazing to see the process behind it all, how it actually grows, how it's actually created, the origins of our food, you know? I feel like sometimes we're so disconnected from the food that we eat, from the nourishment that we have. And it's just amazing to take this soil, this life-giving soil, into your hands for just a moment. Smell it, touch it, feel it. This is life. Honestly, being here feels so wonderful. It's just this lush, amazing area of greenery, and it's half an hour away from the center of Mexico City. This is one of the most beautiful, calming places I've seen in this country so far.
Now, on to our next destination, back in the center of Mexico City.
There's one last place that I want to take you guys to that's really, really special here. But in order to get there, I've had to come to a very different kind of neighborhood to the ones that we've been visiting so far. This is Condesa, the hipster capital of Mexico City. Welcome.
If you're looking for a highlights tour of Mexico City, you might skip Condesa altogether. But if you'd like to experience how Mexico City is changing from a truly local perspective, I definitely recommend it.
This is the definition of a hipster neighborhood. No sugar, low in carbs, keto, vegan, ice cream.
Condesa is the fashionable hipster center of Mexico and very different from all the other neighborhoods in town.
It doesn't matter that we're in a hipster neighborhood. The charm of Mexico City is always present. Should I say the danger? I think this is our spot. Let's go inside.
I've arrived at La Clandestina, a tiny hole-in-the-wall bar that deals exclusively in Mexican mezcal. Mezcal is a little bit like tequila in that they're both made from agave, but mezcal tends to be much richer, much more aromatic in flavor. The bar manager, Daniel, is here to give us an introduction.
Wow, here we go.
Hola, hola.
Real Mexican mezcal.
Real Mexican mezcal, the authentic mezcal.
Amazing. So how strong is this exactly?
Exactly, it's 54.6 degrees of alcohol.
Wait,
So-
54.6?
54.6. It's one of the strongest that we have in La Clandestina. But the high amount of alcohol permits you to taste more the flavors of the actual agave, of the actual plant. So it may taste strong, but it will taste good.
Do you shot it or do you sip it? What's the culture?
You don't drink mezcal in shots. You drink it in besitos, little kisses.
Besitos.
Besitos, yeah. You give besitos to mezcal.
Salud.
And we just give a little sip, okay?
All right. Holy crap, it's really strong. It has like a smoky kind of taste.
Yes, yeah.
But it's very strong.
I'm sure you know tequila, that it's, you can say that it's a kind of mezcal. There are families that do this and produce mezcal and are just committed to do mezcal for a living, for generations and generations to pass. There are actually techniques that require you to be at least third generation of mezcal makers for you to call it like an ancestral way of making mezcal. Some of the mezcales that we have, they come from a plant that are older than me.
So it's like this little shot.
This little shot, it's you're drinking a lifetime of a plant here.
All right, so how about this? When we raise a toast now, let's raise it to the humble agave plant.
Yes, of course.
All right.
Sure.
Salud to
Salud
agave.
to agave.
See, I could taste the lifetime of the agave in this one shot, in this one sip. Besito, did you say?
Besito, yeah.
Besito.
This is what much of Condesa is like. All hipster cafes and bars, some of which do the important work of reconnecting young Mexicans to their cultural roots. An amazing place to end a tour of Mexico City.
Today, I really feel like we visited 3 different cities in one very huge metropolis. The neighborhoods of Xochimilco, Coyoacán, and Condesa are so vastly different from each other, but they really make you realize how huge and how alive and how bustling this metropolis is. Honestly, I feel like you could spend a week visiting each barrio in Mexico City and still only scratch the surface. I love my experience here and I hope that you enjoyed following along. So thank you so much for coming along, and I'll see you guys in the next episode right here on DW Travel.